festival of Passover has 4 names. Hag HaAviv, the festival of spring. It was a long winter. I think I still have snow in my backyard. But the buds of my dogwood are starting to bloom, are starting to bud. And it's so beautiful. Passover is a holiday about rebirth. And I feel it this year. I feel the energy of our environment, but also the energy of our community. As more of us are vaccinated, we see hope in the near future. The opportunity to gather with friends and family in our sacred community so soon. I also see the rebirth of the opportunity to try new things, of being creative, of experiencing something different in our natural world. Hag HaAviv, a beautiful time of spring, of renewal.
Passover is the festival of matzah, Chag HaMatzot. This is the bread of affliction. For 7 or 8 days, as we refrain from eating anything that rises, that we really love to eat, we are reminded each time as we take a piece of matzah that we do this to remind ourselves that we weren't always a free people. Try as we might to make delicious things out of matzah, like matzah brie, or matzah pizza, or matzah with jelly and butter, which is my favorite late night snack. It's still matzah. At the Seder, we put aside a piece of matzah for the afikomen, a source of fun and excitement for our kids. But after 4 or 5 days of eating matzah and things that are made of matzah, we begin to dream of things like cake, or fresh challah from the oven, or even pizza. If we think that we bear hardships, and boy do we complain, and complain. Just think of the Israelites who endured so much for our sake. And then think of the Seder. What's the best part? The songs. Of course, I would say that, but it's true. Oh, some may argue that it's the charotzet or the matzah balls or our lively discussions. I say it's the songs we sing. Who could imagine life without "Die, Dayenu, Die, Dayenu"? Who could imagine a Seder without that? Or when Israel was in Egypt's land, let my people go. And then there's always the argument as to who is the youngest child, who is charged with singing the 4 questions. As a little girl, I used to sink in my chair so I wouldn't be chosen, even though everyone knew I was the youngest. Every year, thank God I went to college. It was a conspiracy among my cousins. I still belt it out upon request anytime you want, but those memories will remain with me forever.
The central theme of Passover is liberation, and so the holiday is rightfully called Zman Cherutenu, the season of our liberation. We begin our story with Avadim Hayinu, once we were slaves. Through rituals and symbols, songs and stories, we attempt to re-experience slavery, to know the pain of the whip, the degradation of servitude. Time and again we are commanded, "You shall not oppress the stranger, for you know the feelings of the stranger, having been strangers in the land of Egypt." A tall order indeed, but that is not enough, as we are reminded in Leviticus to love the stranger as ourselves, for we were once strangers in the land of Egypt. What a radical concept! To love people who we do not even know, to care deeply about others, especially those who are the most vulnerable, to strive to make their lives better, to work so that everyone can live with dignity and hope. This year, may we be liberated from the fears that hold us back. This year, let us rise from our Seder tables, ready to love radically.
Fourth name for Passover is Chag HaPesach, the festival of the Pesach sacrifice. The Korban Pesach, the Pesach sacrifice, was at the core of the ancient biblical holiday of Pesach, bringing a lamb or goat for a sacrifice and putting the blood from the sacrifice on the doorposts so that Jewish homes would not be visited by the Malach HaMavis, the angel of death. We reenact this ritual in the Seder by retelling the story of this mysterious night and our subsequent liberation. Once we were slaves, now we are free. May someday everyone, everywhere, all over the world be free. Avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin, avadim hayinu, ata b'nei chorin.
Happy Passover.
Happy Passover.
Zissen Pesach.
Happy Passover, good Yontif, a Zissen Pesach to everybody.